You heard the controversy in CN? No, I have not. What's been happening? What's going on? What's the controversy? Is it surrounding the game itself, I assume? The use of slur and the claim that when you lose 1 unit of sale from yellow people, you will receive 10 units of sales from black people. Wait, from this game or something? Or from the developer? What's been happening? Also, site flops. Chinese gamers abandoned it as devs openly values black gamers over Asians. So you're saying he's catering to the black delegation? I don't know. Seems like a positive for dubstep, in my personal opinion.
When you lose 1 unit of sale from Asian people, you will receive 10 units of sale from black people.
What the hell are you talking about?
Seems like the black delegation will welcome him.
This is your admiral.
Well, so what's happening? So I'm so confused.
And to say that the reception to the recently released Lost Soul Aside, published by PlayStation, to say that it has been a disappointment would be a massive understatement.
Shit. Oof, that is pretty bad.
As of this recording, the game has less than 1,000 players playing it, with a peak this weekend, its launch weekend, of about 3,000 concurrent players.
Well, well, hold on. I think if I remember correctly... Wait. It's on PlayStation, isn't it? Yeah, the problem is like it's super expensive as well. I don't think people would buy this immediately because it's like $60 or so, you know. Plus, also at the same time, it came out on the same week as the following day after Metal Gear. So Metal Gear, of course, is going to destroy the shit out of this game, you know.
One of the things that has been dogging this game has apparently been some pretty bad performance issues. A lot of games these days have been releasing as essentially unfinished turds, and
pretty
gamers
much,
are
yeah,
fed up with this nonsense at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm also sick and tired of the games being so unoptimized, you know, because like it's just like, bruh, like literally, sometimes from time to time, but Expedition 33 is like one of those games that literally, like, you know.
Lost Soul Aside is sitting with a review score of about 57% on Steam, which is low enough to give it a mixed rating.
That is what life is all about, disappointment and failure, so get used to it.
But one thing to note is that Lost Soul Aside was developed by Ulti Zero Games, a Chinese developer, and Chinese gamers have been pretty supportive of games made in their country in the past. Black Myth Wukong famously debuted last year as the first AAA game from China, and it had damn near 2.5 million.
Yeah, but this game is not. The director themselves said that this is not a AAA game. This is a AA game. So if he's gonna try to compare it to it, if he's gonna say that this is a AAA game, it's not a AAA game.
Players concurrently on Steam when it released. A month ago, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers came out, and it was nowhere near as successful as Black Myth, but as the second AAA game to come from China...
Well, the problem is with Wu Chang, though. Let's be honest here. Wu Chang was pretty good. But as of recently, anyways, there's been some controversy with the game itself and the censoring that has happened. Also, the way how the game was launched and everything like that. So
they did hit 130,000 concurrent players at its peak.
Let's not forget about that.
That's pretty solid. So it really makes you wonder about what went on with this reception to Lost Soul Aside.
What happened? Your balls drop off?
Well, if reports are to be believed, it turns out that Sony is responsible for neutering this game. A controversy has broken out primarily in China, where Sony is accused of pushing political correctness into the game. Apparently.
Political correctness in the game?
And it isn't completely clear where this came from, whether it was from Sony or just one developer, but someone was saying they needed to do things in this game, Lost Soul aside, to make it appealing to black folks instead of Asian folks. And look, I'm not a fan of the Chinese government. They are tyrannical commies, but the Chinese people, the citizens themselves, I appreciate the fact that they have no time whatsoever for this identity politics bullshit in their society. That controversy was apparently a big deal over there, and when the Chinese heard about all this progressive shit, they said,
"So long, gay boy!"
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, I've started uploading content onto Rumble.
Where's the progressive part of like the whole thing? What part of the story is it in? I'd be curious
So
where
make
it's
sure
at
to follow
actually.
me over there, and don't forget to follow me over on X, where I keep a list of games.
Where are the black
lousy with
characters?
wokeness
And
in
if
my
that
account at
statement
all
is
times
true.
for your reference, my handle over there is Dr. Disaster 1. But anyhow, let's talk about Lost Soul Aside, a game that I was originally rooting for. The thing is, on the surface the game looks alright, but I've heard that there are a lot of really inexcusable errors in the game. As I said before, performance issues are a big problem in
Yeah,
the
of course.
industry right now. Apparently half the damn games that have come out in the past few months just can't figure out how to make Unreal Engine work for them without causing massive issues.
Maybe Yasuke was in this game, but they removed it. Probably. That could probably be it, you know? Maybe they had a collaboration with Ubisoft, you know?
Performance issues ruining gaming experiences is getting pretty damned old.
The problem is the engine itself. I think we saw a video or so, or I saw a video or so, that Unreal Engine is not really a well-optimized game or so. It's only made for one specific catering a type of genre of a game, you know? At least from what I've known or so. So, you know, plus also on top of that, these devs don't really like, the problem is the hours that they have to release this game. Let's say, for example, you know, you don't have enough time to optimize the game well enough. The problem is like they won't allow you to, you know, delay the game because they have to meet quota, unfortunately. So, which does kind of suck, unfortunately, because of the stupid quota that they got to do. So,
But to top it off, I've heard that Lost Soul has a bunch of typos in it and things like that, which really
Typos?
tells us an awful lot about the lack of care and craftsmanship that was put into the game.
What's the
There
typo?
really is no excuse for something like that, especially coming from a publisher like PlayStation. This game clearly had a lot.
yeah, but I saw a video so talking about the shit that was happening behind the scenes or so with this game itself and the struggles that it was going through, you know. There is a video. I saw the video itself. I don't think I shared it on here on stream or so, but there is a video talking about the development process and the development journey or so that happened with this game.
Lot of money pushed into it, but they aren't going to make a whole lot back on it from the looks of things. According to VG Analytics, during its launch weekend here, Lost Soul has only sold about 31,000 units so far. Now, I grant you, this number only comes from Steam. They will of course have sold some number of copies on the PS5 as well, but
Of course.
even if that number is higher, I doubt it will have outflanked Steam by that much. And now, just for some added context, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers has sold 1.4 million units. Granted, that game has been out for a month now, but the bulk of
Yeah.
a game's sales happened during the first few days of launch, so that gives you an idea as to just how abandoned Lost Soul Aside has been by the Chinese, who you would have thought would have carried this game to at least a respectable release. But let's read about why that did not happen in this article.
Well, I'm not too sure too much of at least like the first trailer when this game was made or so, because I remember the first trailer when this game was made was back 11 years ago, but it was on YouTube. I don't know if it was on Billy. I don't know if this guy has a Billy account where he uploaded it first. So I'm not too sure. So I can't really compare. No, I can't really compare if there's one on, if he has a Billy account.
Article from Twisted Voxel. It says here, development troubles and internal drama surrounding Sony Interactive Entertainment and Ulti-Zero Games' action role-playing game Lost Soul Aside have allegedly hurt the game's reputation in China ahead of its release. After nearly a decade in development, Lost Soul Aside was released on August 29th, and the game's reputation within its home country of China has been overshadowed by controversy stemming from both development challenges and damaging internal drama. The controversy arose earlier this year when leaked private chat logs from a former developer began to spread online. These logs contained troubling comments that quickly went viral in Chinese gaming circles.
That is pretty bad.
In one exchange, the former developer boasted this project can only be completed thanks to Yang Bing, the Lost Soul Aside director/producer, and me, dismissing the contributions of others. Far more serious was the use of a slur and the claim that when you lose
Thank you for the follow.
1 unit
Welcome.
of sale from Asian people, you will receive 10 units of sale from black people. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, the math on that is not mathing. I'm not interested in pitting one ethnic group against another, but apparently someone involved
Yeah, no, that is pretty shitty in my personal opinion to be saying that, actually.
with the making of this game does want to do that. So I will say this. I know that there are a shit ton of black gamers out there, but I seriously doubt that they outnumber Asian gamers. The Japanese, the Chinese, the Koreans, these countries are known for being fanatical gamers.
Yeah.
So, this mentality that developers have to kowtow to black gamers does not make sense. They sure as hell do not outnumber Asian gamers 10 to 1. In fact, I'd be willing to bet those numbers are inverted. But why in the hell is somebody who worked on this game talking like this in the first place and essentially pitting two ethnic groups against each other as if they can't like the same thing? That doesn't make any damn sense to me. Well, that next sentence in this article gives us a hint as to why this happened. It says, another message accused Sony of forcing political correctness during a studio visit. The thing is, this is a company that has been infiltrated by Western woke sensibilities to the point that they actually believe that the modern audience, those sophisticated, progressive people who whine constantly about diversity and representation. But anyways, Sony believes that that is their actual audience. They have spent far too much time listening to their HR departments and not enough time listening to the people who actually buy video games. But then the article finishes up saying the authenticity of these leaks was not disputed by
Well, at least so far, I have not met any wokeness in the game, if that's what we're referring to be honest. At least so far, none. You know, the female characters are hot. The story is kind of a little bit like, little shaky, you know. Combat is like, you know, it's pretty average. It's pretty, you know, pretty like a C,
by Lost
It's nowhere
Soul
near like
Aside
Devil May
director
Cry or
slash
anything like
producer
that. So
Yang Bing, who promptly issued a public apology. He admitted his own failings in leadership, acknowledged that the remarks had caused harm, and stressed that the employee in question had already been dismissed last year. The incident undoubtedly reinforced skepticism about the project's troubled production among Chinese fans. Despite Bing's apology, the goodwill that once surrounded Lost Soul Aside doesn't seem to have fully recovered in its home market. So yeah, this really explains why.
so far in the story, there's no woke stuff, so I have no clue where this woke stuff comes from. Yeah, that's the thing itself. Like that's what I'm like. Where are you getting this from? You know, where's the source of
Lost
this? You
Soul
know,
has not done well, and it really illustrates just how embracing woke identity shit can ruin a game. That crap sours people on a product, sucking all the fun out of it immediately. But on top of that, this also seems to tell us about
Yeah, but where's the hard proof that you're saying like this game has wokeness in it? Like, I'm not trying to defend the game or anything like that, as in like this is the best game ever, right? No, it definitely has some flaws in the game itself, but like, I did not, at least so far, at least I did not see anything like that, you know?
where Sony is at. They simply refuse to change course, no matter how gamers insist that this sort of mentality is not what we want in the gaming world. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your scorn for Sony and this game into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks.
Let me check out that Reddit post real quick. He grew his channel on anti-woke wave. Every video he makes is essentially the same words and same viewpoints. Well, there are some games that are woke at the end of the day, you know. Let's see, repost translation of the article from Billy Billy about Yang being in development of Lost Souls aside. The project hit bottleneck at the original plans, included the elements of teams managed attempts burning through money. Disappointed Yang Bing and scrap through. In 2020, Yang Bing decided to scrap the and restart Lost Souls aside, and the version we have today. Cutting back heavily on the original design, the team grew about 30 people. Scrapping everything meant sunk costs and even tighter funding. They couldn't afford a senior veteran, so the team was a mix of mobile gamer developers and inexperienced newcomers learning on the job. From mid-2021 and early 2023, due to COVID lockdown in Shanghai, the team was forced to work from home, which slowed progress significantly. Members would finish task individuality, then hand them to Yang Bing, who would integrate them. Many people quit during this time, some moving on the paper games, Tencent or NetEase, basically using Ulti Zero as a stepping stone. That's pretty shitty, to be honest. The CCs here what is this? Is anti-woke dude crusader from what it sounds. These leaked messages did PR damage. Yeah, that definitely did some PR damage. I know it's not Yang Bing who said it, but it's probably his second in command that said it, which was pretty, like, it's like, you know. December 2023, the restricted lips of Yang Bing has already listed the bald angry. In early 2024, Sony required changes to the script and directly participated in revisions with a team that had worked on the God of War Ragnarok and Horizon. The narrative was heavily cut down. Originally divided into 10 chapters, the story was merged into fewer larger ones. The game release was delayed. Sony wanted to keep fans interested alive through social engagement campaigns at the time, and studio planner Vivian's had completed all her designs work and began handling the studio's operations. She was a strongly pro-Sony, somewhat arrogant, and often stirred drama online. She even leaked internal info and released and false release dates. Eventually, during the infamous one black cancel out 10 yellows controversy, Yang Bing couldn't stand it anymore and fired her. Okay, so this person basically was the one that started the controversy about the, you know, about the yellow thing, about the yellow, you know, the Asians, and then like 10 black people or so. Apparently he did the right move and completely fired her ass. Sony downplayed the situation and wouldn't allow the studio to make public statements. Since the team had no right to speak out on or even set pricings. Only after public pressure did Sony permit Yang Bing to clarify things, but by then much damage has been done. Internally, Sony China admitted it was mishandled by their sales department, which lacked proper PR crisis management. From the late 2024 into 2025, the revised script and the cutscenes were completed along with the Japanese, English, and the Chinese voiceovers. Development prioritized the PS5 version. The PC port was supposed to be optimized well, but Unreal Engine PC optimization turned out harder than expected. In my opinion, they should have just released it later, like other Sony titles. Yeah, they should have released it later, to be honest. The demo build was stuck in Sony's review in nearly 2 months and was only approved right before release. The pre-development cost from indirect info was around 20% and Black Myth Wukong's budget, or about half of Stellar Blades. Given the scale and Lost Souls aside, compared to its budget, it was still risky to attempt a pure action game of such difficulty for comparison. So comparing Lost Souls aside, only by development time or against these large scale titles, missing the point saying things like 11 years and this is all they made, or it's no Devil May Cry, it's just playing with numbers. Yang Bing inspirations were Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden, and Final Fantasy. The same way your favorite works shape what you dream of making for him, Lost Souls Aside was a 10-year journey. The dev circles few would call it a AAA title because making a realistic 3D action game is notoriously hard. I think DMC is difficult. Ninja Gaiden is even more brutal. For someone with zero experience in action games or even in game development at all, getting character actions and responsiveness right is an enormous challenge. Something as simple as jump and land animations can take half a year without prior experience. Still feels pretty great though. Due to the endless fine tuning and the bugs fixings, the chaining action together is even harder, often breaking when one fix causes another issue to the current animation set nearly 6 years of iteration. Also, they struggle to recruit experienced action animators for years. In essence, Lost Souls Aside is a project nurtured under Sony China's Hero Project. It carries symbolic weight for many small developers and aspiring creators. Proof that with discipline and self-learning, you can try to make a game your dream of. Though you might go bald, but it's also a warning to never attempt a 3D open world action game unless you want to suffer. Very few manage to turn visions into reality. Looking back, it has been 10 years since Yang Bing's prototype video. It is a single player dev community. There's an old saying, without 10 years of experience, you're bound to fall into pitfalls. He lived that out back in 2016. His prototype inspired many people. His first upload was on YouTube, linked to the okay, so it was on YouTube. So it was on YouTube first, linked with the Unreal Engine developer community, and later re-uploaded to Bilibili. You can still find early comments under the video. Did he forget the original intent? Not really. He did his best. From what I know him, Yang Bing is a true introvert. Aside from development, he barely involves himself in anything else and leaves operation entirely to Sony. At past China Heroes Project's dinners, he would just sit on the side eating quietly, never initiating conversations. He avoids going out, doesn't travel, and even broke up with his girlfriend. Gains and losses, he's probably the best example of that. Thanks so much for this post. It really puts some things into perspective. Of course, it won't happen, but I hope people go easier on the dev team after reading this. Literally, passion and Sony's shocking levels of patience with the team allowed the project to even see the light of day. I really hope Yang and the team can get a good rest after upcoming patches and deserves. Sony's destroying this man's dream by overcharging for his game. Yeah. So it's basically Sony's fault at the end of the day. So I personally stopped watching Nerdrotic and Helv's Babyface, the Critical Drinker, etc., because they have become crusaders and no longer give fair reviews. They shit on everything without giving the good. I preview CCs that can give the good and the bad and the ugly and the fair matter. That's what I do as well. I usually try to give fairly enough, the good, the bad, and the ugly and everything. What can they do to improve on my personal thing. That I don't really judge a game by, like, I'll make fun of it. I'll do the funny thing. It's like, it's woke, there's a woman in it. I'll do the joke and everything. But it's nothing that serious though at the end of the day. Yeah. So definitely, at the end of the day, it's Sony's fault for this to happen. Man, I sad to see. Hopefully, he and the stories like Expedition 33 still can inspire these smaller teams. Though we need more passion projects, and hopefully that prototype we had seen could truly exist in the final release. Getting the game finishes an enormous achievement, let alone a AA game. Many people with 8 years plus in the industry haven't even delivered a finished product yet. It is brutal art. Yeah. I knew for a fact that it was like definitely and unfortunately the game definitely completely had some bad stigmatization because of Sony's mismanagement at the end of the day. So unfortunately, you know, that's basically is what happened. So which kind of is a little bit disappointing that you know, this is basically Sony's fault, you know. It does kind of suck. Don't get me wrong. It does kind of suck.